So today is Monday, March 27, 2023. It's currently about to be 3:58. Before I move on with the video, as you guys can tell, I'm in a classroom setting. Tomorrow I have an exam. It's for my language and brain class, and I'm low-key like nervous about it, but honestly I'm like nervous for every single exam that I've taken. But in this video I'm gonna be telling you guys how I study. I feel like it's very important for you guys to know. So a little bit of a background: I'm a senior at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. But yes, I am low-key very sad, but freshman year coming to campus, it was like a whole ordeal trying to like balance friends, my job, my family, the campus, school, activities. It was just a whole bunch. So my GPA my first semester was like terrible. In my opinion, it was like terrible according to like my standards, which are really pretty high. It was just not where I wanted to be. So I told myself the next 3 semesters I better study my off and get a 4.0, which I did. I did it for 4 semesters, and that was hectic. Literally straight A's for 4 semesters. Regardless of like what major you are, I feel like if you want to get straight A's, like it's difficult. I mean, yeah, it really depends if like you're a communication major or like computer science major, but like if you want straight A's, you gotta work for it essentially, you know? Okay, but yes, so that's how I did it. And so this is how I've been studying ever since. I feel like for college, it's not more so anymore like, what is the definition of blah, blah, blah? You actually have to know the meaning of what you're doing, you know? You can't get away with like just knowing what it means. Oh, actually you can get away with it. You just gotta finesse the system. If you know how to finesse, you know how to finesse, and if you don't, then I don't know what to tell you there, because I finesse the system 100%. But here I am, a senior, you know, which looking back at it, I'm like, but also because the way I grew up, my mom was always like, grades, 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 you know? Like, I remember, what was it? Like, I was in kindergarten and my mom would literally make me stay up and recite my hypothesis, like my whole freaking science fair project. But yeah, she made me recite my like science fair project when I was like in kindergarten, first, second grade, until I knew it, like until I knew it. And even now I can be like, hi, my name is Ivy, the title of my science project is does eye color affect how far you can see? Purpose, the purpose of this, blah blah blah, you know? As you can tell, like it's literally ingrained in my head, you know? So that's how I grew up. Now she's like, now I can be like, yeah mom, I gotta see, and she's like, oh, it's okay honey, like you'll get them next time. I'm like, what? I am happy that she taught me that, like academics, blah blah blah, because here I am, I've made it this far, and I'm so happy with like outcome, even though there's so many freaking obstacles that I had to overcome, but here I am. But for this video, I'm going to teach you guys how I study. I find it to be a very fun way and very interactive if you want it. Basically, the way I learn is by talking, yes. And that is why I am in an empty classroom. So I kind of figured this out. This has been my tactic for senior year. Being in an empty classroom, I'm like, what is semantics? Semantics is yes, meaning, you know? And I point, I use my hands. They also say, I learned in one of my classes, that if you study where in an environment that is similar to how you're taking it. So basically, I'm gonna take this exam in a classroom. I'm in the classroom, you know? Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. But I found it to be very, very, like it works like a lot. Last semester, it was great. I forgot what the actual word is, because there is like a word to like a type of learning or something. I should know, you know, but there's just so many definitions that I like learn, and they just, you know. But yeah, so basically when you're taking the exam, it's like you can imagine yourself when you were learning and what you were saying and blah blah blah. So when I'm like picturing it, I'm like, okay, so I said this and this and this, so I'm like, I write it down, you know. So that's basically how I learned. Sophomore year, this kind of began freshman year. I lived at Weston. I'm so sorry, I'm literally blabbering, but at Weston I there's like this basement area with like classrooms. You can actually take classes like in the basement or whatever. I had like 2 classes. Literally I would get up from my bed, go downstairs in 2 minutes, and boom, be in class, you know. But basically they had like whiteboards and stuff like that, so I'd be like, so class, blah 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 blah, you know. That's literally how I freaking learn, you guys. That's how I started learning freshman year. I would literally FaceTime people back home and I'd be like, okay, you're gonna sit down and study with me for an hour or two. Obviously you can have me on mute or whatever, or like put your phone down, but just be there, blah blah blah, and listen, you know. And so like that I would learn the most, because I people like quiz me back like on over FaceTime or something, they would actually be paying attention, and they would be like, oh, so what does this mean, you know. And I'm like, oh, I actually have to know the meaning. So that's one thing that you can do. You can FaceTime people, because one thing that I do, I feel much more comfortable when I'm by myself studying as opposed to someone is there. I feel like low-key they're judging me, you know, but over FaceTime I don't feel judged. So that's basically how I study right now. Like I said, freshman year is in the basement of my dorm. Sophomore year I lived in Wasatcha, and so there they have like study rooms, and I would study there. I would literally leave my stuff the night before and then wake up in the morning around 7 to 8 and study from 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m. And then junior year, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't study that much. I still got A's and B's, literally don't know how, but here I am. And then senior year, I've been studying in this class. I wish I could be one of those people that just looks at stuff and it's ingrained in my head, but honestly I am not like that. I need to talk, because I feel like when I'm talking, there's just a lot of scientific evidence that when you talk, when you are in settings like when you are taking the exam, you just do better. And so partly because I'm a psych major and we've gone over these like results over and over again in all my like psych classes, and like how to learn, and like it just deals with so much basically, that's why I learned this way. I find it to be the most effective. Even before I was a psych major, this is how I would study, because I knew the scientific evidence was there. So okay, so I am gonna tell you guys another trick to studying. When you study, you don't want to study for 5 hours. I know we all do this. We literally all cram the night before. Trust me, I'm doing it right now, you know. But one thing that you do want to do is do it in increments. So when I'm talking about increments, I'm talking about this. I usually have like a little like chart here of what times I'm usually like studying with. It's very important to have like breaks in between your study sessions. I learned this through a YouTube video, because at one point I found it very difficult to focus. So what I did is looked up YouTube videos that had study with me 5 hours with 10-minute breaks, you know. And those videos actually help like study. I forgot the names. If I find them, I'm gonna link them in my bio. But those were very helpful like during COVID, and I would just have it there in front of me and study, and then it'd be like ring ring ring, like the 50 minutes is over, you can take your 10-minute break. So those really like keep you on your grind. I've learned this, and so that's why I'm implementing this strategy as well. So I implore you guys to do this as well, because having those like 10-minute breaks really helps. I know they're 10 minutes, but they really do help. Also, when you want to, if you're studying, it's more like chill vibes, I do play music. I literally cannot study with music with lyrics, so that's why I use lo-fi beats. Lo-fi's my best friend, essentially. How it is very complex, because a lot of factors can play a role in it. So beginning with individual words. So when we're talking about individual words, essentially sign language deals with the hands, the arms, the face. Okay, so that's how I've been studying for my exams in college. I've studied like this for those exams that are like more so difficult in terms of like them being fill in the blank, as opposed to like your normal like the bubbling or whatever, I forgot what it's called. But don't be discouraged if you're like in college right now and you don't know how to study. You're gonna find essentially your own way to study. I've studied with groups, I've studied with partners, I've studied with by myself. And I feel like by myself or with like me talking to someone, it can be in person, it can be over the phone, is essentially the best for me, because I have to have like that interactive style. I don't know, or I can just picture it, you know. But point is, you'll find how you study no matter what, if you actually like are trying to, you know. So if you guys enjoyed this video, or if you guys have questions about how I study, blah blah blah, put them down below. Feel free to message me, I don't know, whatever, you know. But if you guys like this video, be sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.